The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, JM, and Paul G.
What up?
Scooby-Doo. How are you?
I am just wonderful. Mr. White.
Oh, I was going to say, it's a little cloudy.
It is cloudy.
How's the sump pumps working?
Fine by me. How about yours?
How about the hamster wheel?
Yeah, that's hasn't begun, and rather not talk about that. Bad mojo by talking about the hamster wheel.
Oh, sorry. All right. What can we talk about since...
Never talk about weather with me.
Okay.
Jinxes it. Everything's good, and then... No.
What time's your tea time?
No tea time.
Okay. Did you show up on days like this?
Just got back from New York, so got a lot of catching up to do.
Congratulations! Why am I congratulating you, Skoo?
Because my beautiful daughter just graduated from Fordham University. Summa cum laude in the business school.
What does that mean?
That's a top 3.9 to 4.0 grade point. Highest you can get.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And in business. Damn.
Very proud.
That's awesome.
Student
That's
athlete.
awesome.
Yeah, everything 4 years. Actually, we were on their show when we were driving her out there 4 years ago.
That's right. We should go look for that.
Boy, does time fly.
Holy crap.
Wow.
When you're sort of having fun, yeah. So is she going to miss the Bronx?
Oh, no, she moved to Brooklyn.
Oh, Park Slope or what's...
She's staying out there and pursuing her dream out there in New York. She's a New Yorker.
You know, it's either they go to Lincoln Park or they go to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is an up and coming, I guess. She's in Williamsburg, which I believe is the the Mecca for young people now.
I thought it was Park Slope. I have to go look.
I don't know. That's what I was told.
So are you going to help populate the apartment, or that's already been done?
Did that on Sunday.
Sunday, okay. All right.
Came back on Monday. My arms are sore. Oh, no, wait. I didn't fly. We drove.
Your legs are sore?
Yeah, legs are sore.
Flintstones. Hi, Joe Weiss.
Good
Joe,
morning.
Should we talk about
the
Aloha
dog eat
Farm?
dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear.
George Wendt,
Come on,
rest in
anyone?
peace.
Anyone? Thank you, Joe. Anyone? Good Lord.
I got it.
No, I do think we have better.
R.I.P. Bill Swirsky as well. The Bears.
But you guys can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Go ahead, Joe. You want to talk about Aloha
Well, there
Cafe
was a
or
whole
something?
city council meeting besides that. You can talk about all the rest of it.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
What do you want? Well, you did a very nice summary. Let me get my reading glasses on of it. I mean, where do you want to start? They had the Bank Lane. Where was it here? Forgive me.
People are waking up on a Saturday morning and they want to know what the news is. So, what is the news? What do we decide to tell the people in Lake Forest what the news is, Joe and Skoo?
I'm just going through my.
Rainy on Wednesday. Summer's starting. Girls soccer had a mild upset last night. Advanced to Friday's regional championship.
Who did they upset?
Girls lacrosse is hosting regionals next week. A lot of stuff going on. Come out and see them. Support them.
Yeah, Joe, I'm waiting. What do you got?
I'm just pulling. You did a summary here.
Well, it's quite easy when you.
Try,
I'll wait.
Well, wait, which one? You sent about 12 emails yesterday, um, or this week.
We had a
I think for
citizen comment.
tomorrow. Wait, hold on here. Sorry. Bank Lane. Talk about Bank Lane.
Go ahead. I'm sure everybody's interested.
Where was your email with the? You did a very nice summary of the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you pull it up? You wrote it.
I'm asking you. I sent it to you guys last night. I just, should I be sending those emails or should I just do
They're
an
great
AI
emails.
an AI generated thing? We had somebody go up and speak to the city council last night. Mayor
Oh, here we
Tab.
go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so did they decide on the legal committee? Remember they tabled that, or are they just not? They're
I think
gonna wait a little longer on that
it's
one.
still tabled.
Still tabled? Okay.
They'll reinstitute it, just like they'll reinstitute other things.
I mean, my take on it is it's not needed. No other city in the that I can think of, certainly not in this area, has this type of committee. And people think, well, it looks over all the legal issues, but they can't discuss most of the legal issues because there's attorney-client privilege. So they just go there and basically sip coffee and say how you're doing to each other and um, waste the staff's time. As a taxpayer, I would rather the staff their time be spent on real legal work rather than updating a committee that has no jurisdiction.
Well, I think the
And
reason it's there is for a third party eye on it because of all the issues that happened in the past. A lot of these boards and commissions don't work 3/4 of the time when stuff comes up. Nothing ever 100% of issues in Lake Forest do not go to boards and commissions. That's a fact.
well,
And
there is an element of
and there are boards and
day-to-day.
commissions that sit idle for a long time, like the Parks and Recs board, but that doesn't mean get rid of it and hand it off to a pseudo um, city council group. I mean, it's just same thing. I mean,
Well,
it is.
I disagree with you on that. I
Tell
think
me how
that
you
that
disagree,
was
though, Joe. What's the difference?
the
The
difference is
advisory
now it's
board,
being the difference now is that it's being handled by the alderman, just like all the other tasks are, like budget, finance, all the other public works, all the other subcommittees of the council. So
all the boards and advisories are advisory.
now instead of having this appointed board
Mhm.
that's really not accountable to anybody but the council, your elected city council members are the ones who are accountable.
So get rid of all the boards and commissions. They're all advisory
No,
except for
because no, because zoning commission and planning commission have legal
okay,
responsibilities under the municipal code. Every city
okay.
does that.
And there's liaisons on all the boards and
Okay.
commissions
And if
to
you look at the other cities that have
not
parks,
looking at other cities, Joe. We're looking at
okay,
the
well,
city of Lake Forest.
okay,
We're not
I get it. Lake
emulating other
Forest is a
cities.
unique, okay, I get it
Right.
that Lake Forest is a unique community,
And it's
but
a city
sometimes it
manager
does,
form of government, which is unique
right.
too.
And there's other city manager forms of government with parks departments that don't have a parks and rec board like this.
Parks districts.
No, no, no. Cities with park departments. Go look at Evanston. Go look at other cities that have manager
5 times
forms
the
of
size
government.
of Lake Forest.
I don't
Joe,
see the
here's the
need for
point
it.
is
Okay,
you have an advisory that goes to the city council. The city council can ask questions, which they do all the time on issues, but why get rid of something that's been going along fine forever and ever, and there's been no issues, and then you pan it off to a select group of 3 aldermen. What
because
happens when
I
those
think the
wait, wait, wait,
council
wait,
will
wait.
have more.
Whoa. What happens when those 3 aldermen go, God, there's too much work for us to do here.
I don't think any alderman's going to
Let's
do
let's
that.
get oh
Well,
I'll bet you a dollar.
government changes over the years, okay?
It
The city
does.
isn't the same structure it was in 1935 or in 1865, okay?
But
So
Joe, I
things
just
do
remember you guys
change.
all talking about on these podcasts when the elections were going on is we don't, don't change what's not broken. Everything's going good. Now all of a sudden you're like, well, change is all good for this all stuff. So which way do you
Skoo,
do you
that's
think?
apples and oranges.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Doing the same thing that
Look,
your
I understand you
opposite of what you
served on
said.
I understand you served on the Parks and Rec board, and
Has
I
nothing to do
appreciate
with
your
that.
service,
Moment of
but I
silence.
just don't see going forward the value of it versus having an aldermanic subcommittee, which will have more uh, more power than this
Power's
board
not
that
the
has
issue.
no power.
Look,
Did you ever vote to approve something when you were on the Parks and Rec board
absolutely.
that if you had
Absolutely.
voted no on would have not
Absolutely.
happened? Like what?
What do you mean? I voted on stuff that didn't happen?
No,
I have to
no.
go back and
Give me
check
an
my
example
notes.
of a vote you took that if the board hadn't done it, wouldn't have happened, or something you stopped
Uh, Renovations at Deer Path. City was going to get
at the
rid of
golf course.
the golf course. The city was going to get rid of the golf course. If not for the work I did on the rec board with the golf commission and all that, never would have happened. The city councilmen were going to vote to turn it into a walking park. That's the issue with city council getting, as you say, power to make decisions that they shouldn't. Because of the effort that was done by the rec board, me on it, and the other people, as well as the community, that was thwarted. It was a vote away from disappearing. Period.
Right. Well, I
And guess
wasn't
what,
here to see
Joe?
that,
Guess what,
so I'm
Joe?
gonna.
Hey, Joe, guess what? If the rec board wasn't there and 3 alderman commission, that would have been gone. We wouldn't have a public golf course. What
But
else
do
do you
you
want me
think
to
that
know?
discussion could have happened at the council level at a
No, it
public
didn't. No,
meeting of the
Joe,
council?
here's why. Because it did happen at the council and they took a preliminary vote to get rid of it and was in favor of it. Until the community kind of said, what the hell's going on here? So no, Joe, you're wrong. Having a separate body overseeing stuff and making advisory decisions. Yeah. And here's the other thing, Joe, with the board, and it's just not the rec board, it's all these the budget and all that. You think the 3 councilmen who've never sat through a budget process at the rec level with fees and all that stuff, they're now going to wave their wand
Well,
and make
they
big
do it with
decisions?
public works, Skoo. What's the difference?
It's a big difference, Joe. How many public work fees are there? Joe, what's the rack fee at the beach
Every
for
single resident uses public works.
what's the rack fees for at the beach, Joe, for each individual boat, canoe, whatever? You go
I
through
don't know it
every
offhand. I'm sure I could
I'm
look it
telling you,
up.
Joe, you go
I
through every
don't own a
single
boat.
one, and the and
But
the
Skoo,
and the three
if I was a
commissions aren't
council
important.
member, any council member that does their job, if they're appointed to this committee, would look up and be familiar with that. Okay.
It's a big assumption.
Well, is it any different than if the person appointed for Parks and Rec by the mayor and the caucus is?
It is because that's what they're when the budget time comes, that's what happens for several meetings to go through that stuff.
Okay, like I said, I disagree with you.
That's fine. We can disagree. You asked me for one issue. I brought one up, and that
Okay.
If you
defeats
got this,
everything on getting rid of it.
you got this legal board. Okay, if they're not needed, can't we just have them and they don't have to show up to
Exactly.
meetings?
It's a backstop.
Well,
What if you need them?
For what? You can't discuss anything of serious nature because of attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
I think it's as a taxpayer, I'm concerned that my tax dollars are being wasted on staff having to prepare for meaningless meetings.
I disagree. Your staff.
All right, well, we disagree.
If nothing's going on, why do they got to meet?
That's right. Why meet?
Well, if nothing's going
All these
on, why do
boards
they
and
need
commissions
to
don't meet.
exist?
Why do you have
these boards and
insurance when you
commissions
drive
don't
your
meet
car
every
into a
single
tree?
month?
Skoo's in the insurance
It's not
business.
insurance.
Why do you have insurance?
It's not the same thing.
Why is it not the same thing?
Nothing's the same thing to Joe.
Wait, hold on, Joe. Let's go. Why is it not?
Why don't we have a committee why don't we have a commission or a public works board? Why don't we have that? Why don't we have a
We're talking
police
about the
board that
legal board,
oversees the
Joe.
police department or the fire department?
We're
There's
talking
all the
about
police
other
the legal
commission,
departments.
there's fire commission.
Has this board ever done
There's a
anything?
pension.
Hold on. This board that's been around, I don't know how long they've been around. Have they done anything that's helped the city in the past?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think every legal issue that comes through, it's bounced off as a third party, kind of get a feel of stuff, just like what happened with the lawsuit with Block the Box. Third party people
And half of
giving
that suit
input
couldn't
on
be
giving
discussed.
input on recommendations that should be taken. Nothing wrong with that. They're not paid. Hey, Joe, and to your issue, you're wasting tax dollars on this. The city employees have to develop those plans and all that to discuss that stuff anyway. There's no cost to the city to go to a commission and bounce stuff as a third party. So you're wrong on that.
Well, they have to
They have to
spend
do it
time
anyway.
No, Skoo, they have to spend time preparing for that meeting, and that's time not spent on other things.
If they were going in front of a
And
lawyer,
those meetings
they
are
have to-
usually at night
if they
when the
go in
staff
front of a
usually works
lawyer,
during
Joe,
the
they got to
day.
spend time putting that together. It's the same thing.
All right, well, I disagree.
Okay. You
Bank
should
Lane.
run for a board or commission, Joe, to get a better background on what's behind them. You'd be good on one. You should do it. Call the caucus.
Come on, Joe.
I'm well aware.
I'm
12 years
serious.
of public service, I'm well aware of how boards and commissions work in municipal
Not in
government,
Lake
Skoo.
Forest. You should run.
Okay, not in
Joe,
Lake
you'd be good
Forest.
at
I'm
it.
sorry I didn't grow up in Lake Forest like you, Skoo. Okay.
Joe, you should
right.
run for one. You'd be good at it. I'm encouraging you to.
All right, thank you. I
Volunteer your
appreciate that.
services.
All right, Bank Lane.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. What do you got?
So, presentation by the engineer outlining the project scope and the bids received. The public input that they received, they're going to do the hybrid work option. Pete, you want to elaborate on that?
No, I'm kind of bored.
Because you want to talk about the other issue. And
Well, no,
you're
it's
upset
like
that we're not.
Saturday morning, people are in their cars listening.
Honestly, I think more people care about what's happening with Bank Lane than they care about some personnel issue that you want to keep bringing up.
Okay. Then make it interesting, Joe. Go ahead.
All right, I think it's a good project. We've talked about it before. Nobody likes construction. Pete's bored.
No, go ahead.
I know public policy is boring. I get it, but that's what government really is about.
Do we only talk about things that are pleasant?
Pete.
Yes.
Pete.
Okay.
All right. Like I said, when you're a private citizen, you can say and think whatever you want. But when you get into a position of responsibility, either as an elected official or as an employee of municipal government or any government, you suddenly have to choose your words and what you say carefully, because you could answer a question in a way that then opens you and the taxpayers up to a lawsuit.
Not in
As a
today's
taxpayer,
world.
I don't want my tax dollars being wasted because of a lawsuit because someone said something that they weren't supposed to say.
How about this? Will you care if the Illinois Attorney General says, "Yeah, you got a problem"? Then will you care?
I don't take Kwame Raoul that seriously. Okay.
So you're throwing politics into this? Like, I'm just trying to
That's who the
report
Attorney
facts.
General is, and I don't
I'm
take him
trying to
that
report.
seriously.
I'm trying to report facts, and I'm being
All right,
overcome
well,
by personal
maybe
opinion.
they did.
Transparency. If you have transparency and you can see everything, then there isn't a problem. You can't
Pete,
see.
there are limits to transparency.
Talk to me. When's Bank Lane going to go two ways, or is it always going to be one way, Joe? I'm interested now.
I think that was part of the discussion there. So
Okay,
let
go
me look
ahead.
at the notes here.
Possible to go two-way.
Scoot,
I don't know
Joe,
if have they decided it yet? Which way to do Bank Lane? I don't think they did decide that.
Joe.
Forgive me
I
if
don't
they
know.
did.
Knock down a building.
What building they want to knock down?
No buildings, Pete. I said unless.
Oh, sorry.
They're not knocking down a building.
I know that was a joke. I'm going to preface everything. If this is a joke,
Okay, so
Representatives from Le Colonial Restaurant advocated for more nighttime work to minimize business disruptions. When they say nighttime work, I assume they mean like overnight work, but I don't see overnight work being
I don't
done.
know why they would want nighttime work when the
Yeah, because they're open
having
at night,
diners
right?
outside
Yeah, I don't get that
and
either.
the contractors jackhammering the streets. I don't know. That's a unless they're talking about after midnight.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, but that's not going to go over too well with the residents nearby, right? So I don't know. Like I've said before, no one likes construction, but everybody likes it when it's done and a nice finished product. I mean, Kennedy
Still like to
Expressway has
know
been
what
under
they're doing
construction
from.
for 10 years.
I'd still like to know what they're doing from Deer Path to Lake Colonial on that street that really is just a sidewalk.
Bank Lane.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to make it more of like a marketplace and have some shops and restaurants. We'll see what happens. I mean,
Well, there's no, well, that's fine, but there's no buildings that the buildings there don't already are occupied. Were they going to kick them out? And they're
no.
all owned by separate entities.
Well, maybe the landlords will see a more lucrative tenant.
You know the landlords? I do. They will never
I don't know.
sell to the city.
Didn't say they would sell to the city, but they might find a tenant that generates more rent for them than the current one.
Nah.
That's
George
how
says,
I mean, the marketplace is look, it's all anytime you do redevelopment by the government, you have to match that up against the
All I'm
fact that
saying,
you're
right,
dealing with privately owned
that
property.
little avenue there, Deer Path to Lake Colonial, the two buildings on each side are occupied by
You're
businesses.
talking about are you talking about Bank
Bank
Lane?
Lane, yes. I mean,
They're occupied with what? Stores?
yes.
Okay, well
Have you been down there?
maybe of course I have.
Okay, yeah, they're stores, Joe.
Okay. So maybe once this redevelopment happens, some prospective tenant that's not there now may come to the landlord and say, "Hey, this guy's paying you only this much, but I'll pay you that much."
Bet you that never happens.
Well, we'll see. In any event, I don't, you know, in
I'm
the
just saying,
grand,
I like to know what they're doing. They're putting new sidewalks in.
well, they had
You can't
they
get
had a
two.
whole, they've had multiple discussions
I
about
know that
Bank
you
Lane. They
can't get
had
two
public
cars
forums
at the
about
same
it. They
time
had,
driving down there, particularly going opposite directions, unless you take out the sidewalks.
I mean,
It's
a
a
hundred
one
years
car
ago,
lane as it is.
did anyone see the value of Market Square 100 years ago? Probably not. They're like, what do you need that for? It's fine the way it is.
100 years ago. That's a long time, Joe.
I'm just saying, I mean,
I don't understand that, but anyway.
All right. Graduation.
that's coming up.
Yeah. Joe, do you have anybody graduating?
Yes, I do. Knock on wood.
I can't buy you a pack of gum and teach you how to chew it.
Gotta complete classwork, but yes.
You got one in the process, and then Skoo, who we talked about a little bit earlier before Joe showed up. Let's give some kudos again to our friend in the Bronx, or now Brooklyn.
That's right. Carter graduated over the weekend.
Wow, congratulations.
What's the job?
Fordham?
What's the
Business
job?
degree at Fordham.
That's
I was going to
great.
say, what's the job market like for the business people? Better than the
Not
nursery
good.
street?
She's not going to sell insurance for Dakota?
Nope.
Oh, come on now.
She's staking her own path.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. How was the populating of the apartments? A lot of Target visits? Target's having a lot of problems, Skoo.
No, it was just a matter of getting her and her roommates' stuff in there, and that was it for now. They're on their own doing that Target stuff.
This
Nice.
is
That's their
Brooklyn. Wait,
challenge
she
is
moved to Brooklyn or moved
yep,
from?
two
Moved
from the
to. Okay.
Bronx.
Or to the Bronx. Okay.
She is a New Yorker.
When
Go
does
see the
the
Yankees.
when do you pay for the last cell phone bill, Skoo? That's
When
a
I
true,
get
that's a
done
true
paying for
test.
everything else, when she gets a job, which is on the horizon.
And then 27, that's a good age because I think the insurance runs till then. No cell phone bill and no insurance. You are off the hook. You are
Never
good.
off the hook, Pete. You know that.
Lesser, lesser.
Yeah.
Rick Lesser, he's going to pay her bills?
Wish.
All right, continue, guys. I'm enthralled. What else you got?
Pete.
Oh, Pete. This is why people watch, though.
What to this? I wouldn't watch this. I don't even want to watch
Yeah.
this.
We
I'm
need more
editing it right
aldermen
now.
on.
Like this show sucks.
How about the Deer Path Art League? All those young artists,
Well,
talented youth.
my coffee.
Well, the room was packed with them, right?
Who?
The kids from got recognized by the as emerging artists from the Deer Path Art League.
Oh, well, that
Props
means
to them.
more storefronts are going to be populated. But George says
No,
no, that's not
no,
true.
no.
Is that true, Skoo? The storefronts? I don't walk around as much as I used to in town. I just drive by. But do we have empty storefronts?
Of course we do.
I can't. Can you name a place that doesn't have empty storefronts? It's kind of hard these days. I mean, you go everywhere, even in
So you're saying
even in
it's so it's a systemic problem, is what you're saying?
well, retail has changed. I mean, people like you are shopping online more and more, and
Can't
so
afford the
that
rent.
hurts.
The landlords are off the charts
They're waiting for the ideal tenant. What is the ideal tenant? Another
to pay their
Restaurant.
ungodly rents.
Cracker Barrel?
If they want to pay the rent, they'll put them in there. But then the
Pete's going
city
to
will
open up
shut it down.
Hooters in downtown Lake Forest.
But what is the ideal tenant? Like
In
last
Lake
I checked,
Forest, the one that pays the rent.
well, right now you got no rent. So
Well, it benefits it benefits the landlord too, because that's a
Yeah, I
loss to
mean,
them.
sometimes landlords
I've been
make a
challenged on
strategic
this.
decision. I mean, this is the challenge you have with redevelopment because all this property is privately owned. So sometimes a landlord will make a strategic financial decision that it's better to not have a tenant than what they consider a low-paying tenant, because they're waiting for a tenant that will give them more revenue. The
Wait a
area
long
where we
time.
see the opportunity, I think, is some more restaurants. We've talked about that on a number of shows, particularly when Jeff has been on, that you could see two, three more restaurants down there. Um, I mean, there's more restaurants today than there were 10 years ago, right? So that's, I think, an area of growth. I mean, retail itself is tough. I'm surprised we still have some of the retail we have there. God bless them. Hope they survive. But retail's changed. I mean, you got people that are shopping more and more online for
I
stuff,
know it's changed, but
but you still don't go online to go out to dinner. People go
what
out to
what
dinner still.
what 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 are they waiting for? Like another steakhouse? Like what's the ideal tenant? I'm just asking.
Someone that's going to pay
Pay the high
a
rent.
lot of rent to them. Show
Do
me
you
the
think
money.
landlords really care, Pete, what goes in their space? Seriously.
Yeah,
I
and when it's not generating revenue, it's a tax write-off. Remember that.
well, if you've seen everybody's
You know,
books,
the unique thing that I believe these landlords should go back to is everything in Market Square on the second or third floors, if there is a third floor, was living area where apartments and all that, and they could go and make those condos that people can buy and have a lot more income coming, as well as, I mean, my building alone, the second and third floors were rentals forever. And now the landlord has trouble filling the second floor.
That's what a lot of malls
Something
are.
to consider, definitely. You're right.
Malls.
I mean, you talk about the older people in the community looking for places to stay in the community and live. Why not condos in Market Square? I
Well,
mean,
because
I don't
you're
believe
right.
those offices are filled.
Before COVID, office spaces were a premium, but now thanks after COVID, a lot of these guys that used to rent out offices for their business now are working at home. So, or they have those like there's a place in Lake Forest, I can't remember the name offhand. Newcomers had a reception there where you can go and rent space to work for the day. So
Right.
it's like a collective workplace. So point being, as you said, Skoo, there's less demand for office space. So that could be, I think the city would, I think condos would be the way to go, not rental. But something that would be stable for the community and generate what residential property taxes are a stable source of revenue for the
I
city
mean,
or the
30
school
years
district,
ago,
et cetera.
the 30 years ago, this in-town city was gutted by banks and realtors. All the businesses took off because whether they closed or not, but it was just an inglet. That's why you see all these realty offices, banks, and all that. But there's banks that aren't even
Yeah, I mean,
occupied.
we're going to see fewer and fewer banks
I mean,
in the
What do you?
in the coming years because more and more people are doing online banking.
Northern Trust that has the big building at the corner of Deer Path and Bank Lane. I mean, they've narrowed down their clientele to a certain income level, and they don't even populate that whole building. I mean, so there's a lot of unoccupied space, and the problem is the city doesn't own any of these buildings. That's the other thing is they can't do anything unless they work out negotiations like they did
TIF it.
with the
I
police
mean,
department,
you see some cities that TIF tax increment financing
or
property.
they
Like
eminent
Northbrook is
domain it.
no, yeah, that's what Northbrook is doing with Northbrook Court. Skokie is doing that with Old Orchard. I'm sure there's some other examples out there.
I mean, the bank
That's
at the corner
expensive
of
though.
Bank Lane and Deer Path. Again, back to screaming people in the city, negating stuff. That building, there's no one in it and needs to go down and redeveloped. And as Lake Forest works, when they don't like stuff and people scream and holler, they get the whistle. And now that bank's sitting there empty, and it could have been on the way to be developed as part of the development of Bank Lane, but it's not. And that's a big
Well,
space to have.
give it time. I mean, I know we all want to snap our fingers and get it done right away, but
No,
some
it's not
development is
snapping. It's not snapping the fingers, Joe. It's they had a proposal on the table that the screaming meanies, because they felt like a door at the building was historical,
oh,
so
okay, that's
they
fair.
can't do the building.
Yeah, no, okay,
You
I see
think
your
that
point.
developer is going to come back? That's the biggest problem, Joe, with the city right
Well,
now.
there is
Is
you raise
developers
a good
don't come
point
into the
that
city to do stuff because they know it's going to get shot down. It's not worth their
yeah,
time.
that's a very good point. The NIMBYism, whether it's historical preservation or just people scared of change, like the Costco out that we could have had, there is,
That was a whole different. That wasn't not in my backyard, Joe. That was
oh
I
yeah, it
wanted to
was.
put the city facilities out there over Costco. Don't kid
No, that's
yourself.
not true because the
Oh,
city
Joe.
facilities didn't come till
Oh,
several
that's
years
right.
later, Scoo.
That's right. You were there at the time. Yeah, it was, Joe.
No, but I've read
He
up
was
on it,
working
and I
at
remember the
Baskins and
media
Robbins.
and that back when we had a news media, a local news media, the news media covered it, and I actually read those articles.
And there wasn't a need to put the city facilities out there.
I think the city would have, I think the current city leaders would have gladly had a Costco out there instead of the city building.
I think, Joe, if you
Now
look
you can
back
go
at it,
back and
the
ask
entire
Mr. Rummel and
community was
some of the
fine
other
with the
city
Costco.
officials, well, how they felt about it 20 years ago. But I think everyone involved currently with the city would have loved to have had a Costco in Lake Forest instead of Matawa.
Well, that's a,
Sounds
but
like we,
again, that's just one of a
And
million
it
different
was the angry
projects that have been
residents
shot
from
down by the
Conway
city.
Farms that killed it.
That's just one of a million
isn't
developments that
that
didn't
your
occur in
people,
Lake
Joe?
Forest.
What?
Aren't you Conway Farms?
No.
Oh,
Conway Farms is further west. It's by the tollway.
oh, I thought you were
You got
out.
to get out more, Pete. You got to
Well,
take the
you're on the west
Cybertruck
side.
around for a tour.
How much?
Why don't you sign up for the next Lake Forest 101 and take the bus tour with Kathy Zerniak
So,
around the
so
city? It's
here's when
great.
Because
I
that's
was
almost more
taking my
exciting than
drive out
Starbucks.
to New York, I did notice one thing that I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
One of the towns we were going through had a cell or a water tower, right? Just like Lake Forest. On the
Mhm.
top of the water tower were cell, whatever they're called, antennas and all that. And then around the tower, the water tower, little antennas were put all around it. I bet you they have wonderful service out there.
Yeah, but I bet that water tower is more strategically located than where ours is, that the developers of
Oh no.
cellular
Oh no, no, no,
towers
no, no, no,
didn't
no,
want it.
no. It was on the highway. Probably there was some housing and all that close
Yeah,
by,
but
but
Skoo,
nothing
you don't know the whole cell map for that area.
I don't. I'm Joe, and I didn't
Hold on,
stop at
Screw. Let's
you.
get our
I made a
maps
point
out.
that
Hello?
there's ways to do stuff, is what my point is. That
Yes, there
if
is.
a community puts cell antennas around a water tower and on top, why can't
Yeah.
they?
And because the cellular tower developers said that's not the place they want them.
Well,
That was
just making a
discussed.
point, Joe.
Go back. It's a good point, but in this case, it doesn't apply because the cell phone companies are not going to put towers where they don't want to put them. Okay, that doesn't help their
It
service.
wasn't a tower; it was a water tower that had them
Right.
around on
But
top of it,
to put the cellular
attached to
device,
each.
yeah, and that was discussed in the plan commission, and the developers said, no, that's not what we want to do because that's not going to help increase service. We want it at the train station. That's
All I
where
said
it'll
is I
increase
just
service.
driving by, and I thought that it was interesting.
Okay, yeah. No, it
Period.
is interesting.
Period.
But and it works for that community. It doesn't work for Lake Forest.
Good.
As you said a few minutes ago to me, Lake Forest does things that nobody else does, so
That's
don't use
right.
other communities to
Absolutely.
justify it. Touche, Skoo.
Yep. I'm not changing my opinion on it. I made a point that I saw that, and you
All
took
right.
it to
No,
a
it's a
different
good
level.
look. I've seen in Gurnee a cell tower that looks like a tree. Okay, I've sent Pete the picture a couple times. If I can find it, I'll send it to you guys again. You can put it up. But there are ways to put up cell towers that blend into the area just fine,
So
and they're
those
not
those
dangerous.
those groups that put those cell towers up probably don't know anything about Lake Forest and the cell tower people that say no to that stuff here.
I'm sure there's people in every town that say, "Oh my God, the cell towers are killing us. Oh my gosh." But
Put a tree up, make a cell tower look like a tree, and the kids won't die.
no, I don't think those people agree with that. But um, there are ways to put up cell towers that look fine, okay, and that could be done, and it should be done at the metro station. Other towns have cell towers up at their metro stations, and they're fine. So they should allow it at the metro. They should have allowed it
What's
at the
your
metro
feeling on the
station in the
cell
first
towers
place.
and the water tower and all that? Come on.
You want to talk about Bank Lane? Talk about Bank Lane. You
I
want
We
to
have
talk?
mean,
a
How about Memorial
fleeing.
Day? What's everybody doing for Memorial Day? That's a nice
so
topic.
there's a very nice ceremony every year in Market Square. Is that on Sunday or Monday? I can't remember, Scoot. Do you know offhand? Where
I think it's
they do
Monday,
the is it Monday?
9
Okay.
o'clock or 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's always been a very nice ceremony.
I
I don't
always
know
go
who
at the
the
wrong day.
I'm sure it's on the city's website or will be after this is airs.
One year I'll go on
But
Sunday and it's not then, and then I'll go next year Monday. I'm like, God darn it. I think it's Monday.
so but they had last year the guest speaker was a young man who grew up in Lake Forest and now is in the
Are they doing it in Market Square or the new square where the memorial is?
Last year was Market Square, so I would
Well, I
have
know
to
the
think they were.
memorial wasn't completed last year, though. That's what I'm saying. Are they
Oh,
doing it
it's
in
a
the
good
new?
question then. I don't know. Let me look it up. Maybe there's something posted.
I would think there, but that's the American Legion. I don't want to bring that up with Pete. That's a whole
Oh
nother.
no.
Well,
Come on, Pete.
I'm with you guys. Go ahead. What? Come on, viewers. What do you want to hear? I'm trying to put out there what the viewers are asking for. That's where this whole topic came up. People reached out. I looked at it, and people don't like what came out. So let's go on to the next thing.
Lake Forest Memorial Day. Let's see what we got here. So this was last year. Let's see if we got a post. Oh yeah, Memorial Day weekend events for Lake Forest 2025. On Memorial Day, we'll be please join us before 11 a.m. in Market Square on Monday to hear the Lake Forest High School Band and the rest of the program to honor the veterans who have served and passed away. So this is always a big stickler with me is that people confuse Memorial Day and Veterans Day and Armed Services Day. So Memorial Day is to remember men and women in the military who died in the line of service. So in a
That's why I was wondering if it
war,
was at the memorial there.
yeah,
Is that the
but
memorial?
they've chosen to do it in Market Square, maybe to be more public.
They spent 300 grand on that park. Why aren't they doing it in that park?
Probably because the community, Market Square is a place where the community gathers like they do for the tree lighting. So why not do it there where people gather?
Because there's
it's a
construction on
tradition.
Deer Path, and there'd be tough to get over there.
That's a good point too. So
So
maybe
next
down
year-
the road they will move it. But
Okay,
this
got
year
it.
it's at Market Square, and this year everyone should try to go.
Got it.
I've been there before. It's a wonderful ceremony.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, and like I said, Memorial Day is to remember the men and women of the military who died in the line of service. Veterans Day in November is to thank everyone that served, and Armed Forces Day, which I think is already passed, is to thank the current members of the U.S. military.
And Labor Day,
Is to thank all American workers,
Did you say American?
whether they're in a union or not.
do they get to not work on Labor Day, or they have to work on Labor Day?
It depends on what job you have. Somebody's got to
boys.
work on Labor Day, right? I mean, if you call 911, they can't say, sorry, we're closed for Labor Day.
I get that all the time when I work. Labor Day is a 5-day weekend.
For some people it is. For some people it's a week-long weekend. But yeah, you're right. Depends on where you work, right?
Pete, what are you doing for July 4th?
I don't know. I was thinking about
That's
buying
coming
some
up.
high heels and going over to that new turf and looking at the fireworks.
What are you doing for Memorial Day? You smoking out?
I'm thinking about even before then going over to Duffers, bringing in a brisket and see.
Oh, you'll be the Sunday cooker of the week for Jeff.
Yeah, I got to figure out a good time. I'm kind of.
He gives you the meat, doesn't he? Or what does he provide? The grill, the meat, and you cook it.
I think he provides the heat.
Oh, you bring the meat.
I bring the meat.
Okay, and bring it you will.
Boys, thank you for a great show.
Scintillating.
Thank you.
Scintillating podcast.
Magnificent. All right, I'm gonna go make another
Get some
pot of coffee. Yeah,
Come out Memorial Day to Market Square in the morning.
absolutely. Hey, everybody, if you don't like the content, then come up with some. Email Pete at lakeforestpodcast.com. If my co-hosts agree with the content, we will put it on air. Have a great week, all. The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, JM, and Paul G.